Let's be real for a second. Are you finishing your poker sessions feeling like luck just wasn't on your side? Well, what if I told you that for the players who are consistently winning, luck has almost nothing to do with it? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden strategies that transform casual ClubGG players into absolute crushers. So, if you're ready to stop gambling and start winning, let's dive in. I want you to think about your last poker session. Did you feel like you were in the driver's seat, making sharp, calculated moves? Or were you kind of just crossing your fingers, hoping for the deck to save you? That feeling, that's the difference between a game of chance and a game of skill. And let me tell you, poker, especially inside ClubGG Unions, is 100% a skill you can master. So here's our game plan for today. This is how we're going to build your new strategy from the ground up. First, we'll cover the union advantage. You got to know the arena. Then we'll build your personal foundation with the Grinder's playbook. After that, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of mastering the table, sharpening that psychological edge, and finally, we'll get into the really good stuff, the advanced grinder strategies that separate the pros from everyone else. All right, first things first. You can't win the game if you don't understand the playing field. So before we talk about any specific hands or bluffs, we need to talk about where you're playing and why it matters so much. So what in the world is a ClubGG Union? Well, think of it like this. A single poker club is like a local band playing in a garage. A union, that's like a giant music festival. It takes all those little bands and puts them on a massive stage together. This means way more people to play against, more games running, and access to a much bigger network. And being part of that music festival comes with some serious perks. Yeah, sure, a bigger player pool means you can always find a game, which is great. But the real secret sauce? It's the shared resources and learning. Imagine playing a tough hand, being confused, and then having a place to post it where pro-level players give you feedback. That's the kind of edge we're talking about here. It's a total game changer. Okay, so you understand the power of the union. Now it's time to work on you. This is the stuff you do off the table that makes all the difference on the table. This is what separates people who hope to win from those who actually plan on it. Every poker player falls into one of these two columns. On the left, you've got the gambler. They're on an emotional roller coaster, playing for huge stakes, relying on luck, and, well, they often go broke. But on the right, you have the grinder. They treat it like a business, they make smart, strategic decisions, rely on skill, and, this is key, they protect their bankroll. Our entire goal is to get you living in that right-hand column. Let's make this real. This is what smart bankroll management looks like. If you have a $500 bankroll, a grinder is only sitting down at games with a $5 buy-in. It's not about being scared, it's about being smart. You're building a financial firewall. This ensures that one unlucky night, or even an unlucky week, can't knock you out of the game. It gives your skill the time it needs to turn a profit. And just as important as how much money you have is where you choose to play. Here's a pro tip. You want to look for tables where the average pot size is big, but the number of players seeing each flop is low. What does that usually mean? It often signals a table with loose, splashy players who are playing way too many hands. And those are your ideal opponents. Okay, foundation is solid. Bankroll is protected. You know how to find a good game. Now for the fun part. Let's talk about what to do when the cards are actually in the air and you're in the heat of battle. Look, a winning poker strategy is never rigid. It's all about adjusting to the players at your table. Let's take that top one, the tight passive player. You know, the one who folds everything except pocket aces. You can totally exploit that by raising with a much wider range of hands when it's their turn to pay the blinds. They're so cautious, they'll just fold, and you can pick up those small, easy pots over and over again. It adds up, believe me. This little three-step process, this should be running in your brain on a constant loop. For example, you observe a player at your table and you notice they only ever check raise when they have an unbeatable hand. Okay, you identify that as their tell. So the next time they check raise you, you can adjust by folding your pretty good hand, saving your entire stack. It's a simple cycle. Observe, identify, adjust. All right, let's switch gears to something most players ignore, but it's arguably the most important part of the game. We're talking about the battle that happens inside your own head. This is where you can gain a massive, massive edge. Oh man, we've all been there. You get all your chips in the middle with pocket aces against pocket kings. It's a dream scenario. And then, bam, a king hits on the river. Mathematically, you did everything right, but your brain is just screaming.
Being able to absorb that brutal hit, take a breath, and play the very next hand perfectly, that is what a strong mental game is all about. You know, the single biggest killer of poker profits is tilt. That's when you let frustration from one bad hand ruin your decisions for the next 10. Here's a simple trick. Set a timer on your phone. Every hour, no matter what, you have to get up and walk away from the computer for 5 minutes. It completely resets your emotional state and lets you come back to the table fresh and focused. So you've got the fundamentals down. Your mind is right, you're a winning player. Now it's time to go from being good to being truly great. Let's talk about the strategies that take you to that next level of mastery. Now this chart is fascinating, isn't it? The best players spend half their time not even playing. Look at that, 20% on hand review. And that doesn't just mean a quick look. It means firing up software, filtering for your biggest winning and losing pots, and studying them. For the wins, you ask, could I have gotten more money? And for the losses, you find the mistakes so you never make it again. Let's just zoom in on one of these, mastering positional awareness. It's this deep understanding that a hand like Ace-Jack is an absolute monster when you're the last one to act. But if you're the first one to act, that same hand can be a total money pit. The exact same cards change in value depending on your seat at the table, and elite players exploit this fact relentlessly. If you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. The goal is not to click buttons and play a million hands. The goal is to make the absolute best, highest quality decision you possibly can on every single hand you decide to play. It's always quality over quantity. So, there you have it. The Grinder's Playbook is officially yours. The question isn't what to do anymore. The question is, will you have the discipline to actually do it? Here's a challenge for you. In your very next session, just pick one thing from today. Maybe it's just taking scheduled breaks, or maybe it's being more selective about your tables. Master one thing at a time and start building your pro game today.